I want to introduce you to a man that I've known since 1967. He is one of the most unique individuals walking the face of the earth, and certainly the most unique individual that I have met in my entire life. A living genius. Now, many of us have dreamed of making it big, some through hard work and perseverance, have indeed done exactly that. We've made it big. We often think of the fairy tale that's told to us in our youth about the golden goose that laid the golden egg. Now, many people spend their entire life searching for the golden egg. The man that I'm going to introduce you to is very much like the golden goose story come true. This man's mind vibrates at a much higher frequency than most men. And that's why it gives me such pleasure to introduce to you a great man, a man of vision, a man who can begin to change many, many things at many levels. I want to introduce you to this man. It's my pleasure to introduce you to this man. The man's name is Win. I don't have the time to tell you of all of his incredible accomplishments and everything that I know about him and how he has helped so many, many thousands. If I did, if I told you, you would think I were telling you another Mother Goose story, a fairy tale. Win is one of the true living genii. That's right, a genius of our time. I know we read about these things, we hear about these things. Sometimes we meet people who are smart. Sometimes we meet a professor, maybe from college, or some wise person who writes a book or gives a speech. But most of these people, even these genii, what are their fruits? What do they produce? How do they change things? Well, this genii, this genius, is a living genius of our time who makes things happen. He is responsible for more millionaires than anyone I've ever met. I've earned many millions myself just picking up cast-off ideas. And these ideas seem to just spew from his continual stream of living waters. That's what his subconscious mind is like. It's like a stream of living waters. It just keeps flowing and gushing and flowing and gushing. Sometimes he doesn't sleep. And even in the best of days, he only sleeps maybe 2 or 3 or 4 hours. Win is the Einstein of the fitness industry, the creator of this incredible concept of fitness medicine. The fitness medicine concept was his from the start. Now I need to tell you this one thing in summary of him. Nothing stops this man. Now once you understand that, then the rest becomes very easy. Once he makes up his mind, once he sets his mind, once he locks in, there is nothing on planet Earth that gets in his way. He is like a heat-sensing, heat-seeking torpedo, a cybro mechanism that hits its target 100% of the time. Now, once you understand that, why a lot of things begin to fall into place. Once he sets his mind on it, that's it. And I'm glad to know this incredible, kind, gentle, generous genius. Now, I've met a few geniuses in my life. I did meet Einstein when he was president of Princeton University, or not president of Princeton University, but when he indeed was a professor there. I've known McFadden, a few other geniuses that I've met in my life. But to have a close relationship with a genius like Dr. Wynne has been most edifying. If Dr. Wynne chose, and let's say, for instance, to go into the steel industry or the automobile industry or the glass industry or one of these many different industries that we have, the oil industry, he would be today the president of General Motors or the president of General Electric or the president of Bethlehem Steel or one of these Fortune 500 big board companies. If he chose to be a politician, he would no doubt be the governor of California right now today, and the state of California would not be the same as it is today. Well, it's possible that he, if he put his mind on it, would maybe be the president of the United States. But that is not what he chose to do with his life. The love of his life, going all the way back to teen years, to the time of Charles Atlas, was fitness. This was something that he lived, breathed, and his life's avocation has been fitness, and nothing really has deterred him one way or the other. In a half a century, he has never veered to the left or veered to the right. We need people of vision, and there is, I can tell you this, there is no man who has a vision like Dr. Wynne in over a half a century. He has never veered to the left, he's never veered to the right. From Muscle Beach, if you can imagine this, going all the way back to the late 40s and the early 50s at Muscle Beach, Dr. Wynne was one of those guys that actually posed at Muscle Beach and placed and won trophies at Muscle Beach, if you can imagine that. Now you say, well, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it has everything to do with everything. You know, who would you rather have when your canoe turns over? Who would you rather have? Would you rather have a smoker and a joker standing in front of a board of directors at a fitness convention or at a fitness stockholders meeting? Or do you want to have a man of vision that is a believer in what he does and a doer and one who has some fruits to him? Someone who has a success behind him based on a philosophy. You tell me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you should be instructing me. Maybe you should be introducing me to someone. But until you can, I'm going to tell you about Dr. Wynne. From Muscle Beach to the present, this is a leader in the industry. He changed a industry called physical therapy, which was sort of like a dead type of practice back in the 50s. And he came in and he revolutionized in the 50s and in the 60s the physical therapy. How this is practiced now is altogether different. It was sort of like a cast-off type of thing, sort of like shoe yourself over there type of thing and do some physical therapy, to something where it's a standalone profession in itself today. Now, of course, he didn't continue in that because his love was more in the fitness, and he got into the fitness clubs. He set his mind of putting fitness, transversing this nation with fitness and the concept of fitness and health and fitness. And he knew that we needed a central force for this. Now, sure, you had people working out at YMCA's, and you had splintered floors, and you had these power lifters, and you had women who were afraid to go into one of these types of gyms, and you had Slenderella, where the fat ladies would lie on these tables and juggle some fat around, and have these guys with the blue suede shoes telling out this is the way to lose weight. We had that type of thing. And we had some men in the fitness industry that were believers and were good fitness minded. They knew how to put programs together. They knew how to sell memberships. They knew how to run clubs, but they were not unified. It was here and there. Well, Dr. Wynn knew at that time that he had to unify this. He had to put this together. He had to make this into a real industry. He set his mind on it. And I'll tell you, it took a man, a vision, like Dr. Wynn, to put Jack LaLanne and Jack LaLanne's name and the Jack LaLanne health clubs on the map in the United States of America. He did that in the 60s. He did that in the 70s. Many, many millionaires were made as a result of Dr. Wynn. I don't think that he really received the credit and the accolades that many of the guys have over the years when they receive their trophies at the end of the year and everything. And sometimes we don't recognize the people behind the scenes who really are making the things happen. And we sometimes look at the halfback that scores the touchdowns, and we forget about the tackles that rack them and knock them down and put those blocks out there. We forget about the guards that are pulling and getting the heads beat in the line. We say, oh, look at that guy. Let's cheer for him. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. Well, I'm telling you. He then proceeded to put nutritional centers in many, many health clubs. Made a whole industry out of this. I'm telling you, millions and millions, tens of millions of dollars of product was sold. Good product, too. Not some of this stuff that you see in so-called health food stores today. He was first to introduce the Wynn Belt to TV. He followed that with product after product, concept after concept, fortune after fortune. I guess if I were to summarize this, I'd have to say that Dr. Wynn is a winner. And I'll tell you this, a great man to know. I know. I've made millions as a result of my relationship with him. And I'm about to increase my net worth conservatively in the tens of millions. And maybe, you're always looking for that golden goose. You're always looking for that possibility. Maybe in the hundreds of millions. Now, this is nowhere near the money that Dr. Wynn is about to make. But I guess that's okay. I'm not going to feel bad about that. If he made millions or if he made tens of billions, that's fine. I'm willing to take the little pieces as a result, and I'll be perfectly happy with that. And I'm very pleased about that because it's really not that bad. If someone were to follow Dr. Wynn around for 24 hours with a notebook and just write down the ideas, his incredible ideas, and implement it, just one or two of them, they would make millions. But with this incredible project that Dr. Wynn has conceptualized and put into a plan of action, this is not necessary. You can become part of a global revolution that will indeed make changes and will have an effect on our generation and generations to come. So that's what I want to be part of. Hopefully you want to be part of that too. But Dr. Wynn now has constructed a multi-billion-dollar concept that is about to revolutionize our healthcare system in the United States of America. And then, of course, the world. The time to get aboard is not tomorrow. This is what a lot of people do. They buy the Microsoft stock when it's through the roof. Oh yeah, let's buy that. Well, this is the time to get in on Microsoft when it's pennies compared to what the end result will be. Not later on where all of the masses. You cannot follow the masses. The masses are always wrong. If you want to do what's smart, see what the masses, see what the great masses think, see what the great masses do the exact opposite. It's one of the things I learned from Dr. Wynn. Dr. Wynn has always had a soft heart for small people. And what he's chose to do is allow the big boys who have made their millions in the industry, he's limiting their participation. And to me, I think this is like an honorable thing to do. Could have raised all the money that he ever needed. So what this means, basically, bottom line is there is a place for you in the global revolution, something that you can tell your children and your grandchildren about, that, okay, here's what I participated in with Dr. Wynn. And be thankful for Dr. Wynn's soft spot for small people. You can be part of this global revolution, and America certainly needs change. Certainly, America needs change in its healthcare system. It needs revolutionary change in its healthcare system. Sickness is for sick people. Dr. Wynn's plan will drastically increase the wellness level of the entire nation at every age while reducing the cost to a fraction. Do you like to be part of that? Every project that Dr. Wynn has set his mind on, every business endeavor, he's made lots of money for all involved. I can tell you that personally. This new project is no different except for one thing, and that is we can multiply it conservatively by 100 and maybe 1,000. And again, there's that golden goose. I like to think of the bottom line. I like to think of the golden goose. Golden goose could be 10,000 times. How would you like to receive 10,000 times return for every dollar of your hard-earned money? Bigger than anything that he's ever done in his entire life. So in closing, let me share this with you. Every project that I've been involved with Dr. Wynn with, I've been a winner. And this goes on over decades now. Sometimes I've been a big winner. Never been a loser. This project is going to be more fun, more exciting, something that we can really get enthused about. And we'll all have fun changing history together. So in conclusion, win. Win, 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 win. And I say people win and win and win again with Wynn.